Greetings and welcome to Ghost Stories of Washington, Episode 15, Chapter 3, Ghosts in Public, Part 3, Spooky Shadle, Unofficial Ghosts, and the mayor is still hanging around. Hopefully you enjoy the 3 short stories we're going to share tonight. Spooky Shale. By purest definition, this account may not be a ghost story. If a ghost is the energy left over from a human life, then at least one of the people who witnessed these chilling events didn't feel they had been in the presence of a ghost. It is equally possible, however, that what we have here is a ghost story. There is, after all, much about the spirit world that we do not understand. Either way, the tale is, without a doubt, scary, and it clearly recounts a brush with the paranormal. The gentleman in this story, whom we will call Tim, began his recollection of the unnerving experience by stressing how entirely safe he considers the city of Spokane to be. It is a city he knows well and one in which he does not typically feel threatened. Tim even added that Shale, the district in which he and his former girlfriend shared this experience, is an exceptionally quiet area. So it was that Tim and Des, his girlfriend at the time, were enjoying a pleasant late evening stroll to a coffee shop on a summer night in 1995. It was past midnight, but they knew that the place would still be open. As they made their way toward the restaurant, the couple could probably paid no attention to the shadows created by the street lamps along their route. Then the light they were walking directly beneath, the one at the southeast corner of Cedar Street and Garland Avenue, suddenly went out. Given that both Tim and Des are pragmatic folks, neither of them prone to paranoia or flights of fancy, the coincidence of the light burning out or mysteriously turning off did not strike them as being anything to fear. But that happened almost immediately thereafter did scare them rather badly. We'd gone about another 4 feet when we were struck by a large pocket of cold air, Tim recalled. He remembered that this pocket was not stationary but moved with enough force to almost knock us off balance. It shut between us and stopped abruptly behind us. It seemed to stay there and spread out like it was wrapping itself around us. The unspoken agreement, the couple ran from the spot and did not look back until they had reached the opposite end of the block. Only then did they risk taking a glance behind them. We looked back and saw a pale gray cloud sitting there. The thing looked to be about 5 feet wide and 8 to 9 feet in height. It was hard to tell exactly from that distance, Tim recalled. While admitting that he had not known psychic abilities, Tim did acknowledge that the menacing current of the air that formed the pale gray cloud left him with 3 distinct impressions. First, I felt it wasn't anything human, and that it never had been. Secondly, I believed that it was a very hostile. Lastly, I felt that it was intelligent. It was not mindless. To this day, Tim has no real idea of what to call the force that interfered with the couple's trip to the coffee shop. He just knows that it frightened him more than anything in my life. Nevertheless, Tim and Des took exactly the same route just a few nights later, but this time, when the same street lamp went out as they walked under it, They didn't stick around to see what might happen next. They turned tail and ran for safety. Ever since, both together and separately, Tim and Des have been careful to take a detour en route to their favorite coffee shop from then on. And our next short story here is Unofficial Ghosts. You ever seen an unofficial ghost? While researching ghost stories, I frequently encounter some interesting contradictions. Representatives from public buildings often adopt a firm policy of denying any knowledge of ghosts or in or around their property, even though many of the properties are widely known to be haunted places. This zipped-lip policy can lead to awkward situations, especially for staff members who have witnessed ghostly manifestations. A world-famous luxury hotel in the Rocky Mountains is an excellent example. Management there vehemently denies the existence of ghosts in their hostelry. When I mentioned this to a longtime employee, he merely chuckled and asked, "Do you know what they're going to do with the ghosts then?" In other haunted spots, some of the staff will speak candidly, but only on a one-to-one, off-the-record basis. This seems to have been the situation at the Fort Wright Historical Museum. The official stance was that the building was not haunted. However, curious ghost lovers ferreted some pretty amazing tales about that old place. Even cursory look at the history of the building, which is one of the oldest at Fort Wright College and had a varied history prior to its use as a museum, reveals ideal conditions for the existence of a spirit or two. According to reports I have studied, the resident ghosts may have been the spirits of souls who did not realize they were dead. Most of the activity in and around the building consisted of disturbances made by phantoms who seemed to be going about their everyday lives. In another dimension, doors and windows opened and closed, apparently on their own. Disembodied footsteps echoed throughout corridors, and lights were turned off, would come on when no one was near the switch. After a time, those same lights would just as mysteriously be turned off again. At least one of the spirits in the museum had an emotional reaction to music. A student worker was singing while she went about her shift, just a few bars into her tune. Doors in the otherwise empty building began slamming closed. It's probably safe to guess that the young woman did not go to a career as a singer. Despite such a negative reaction to the human voice, several people have heard ghostly singing coming from the building after it has been vacated and secured for the night. Another ghost, the one on the third floor, is thought to be a woman. She may have been associated in life with one or more of the dolls displayed there. Of course, no one can be sure. And in our last short story, it's entitled "The Mayor is Still Hanging Around." The mayor is still hanging around. Many people have reported seeing the figure of a well-dressed man walking into the interstate bridge in downtown Vancouver. He appears in a solid form, but then vanishes instantly. Researchers believe the ghost is the spirit of Grover R. Percival, a former mayor of Vancouver. The last time the man was seen alive, he was walking onto that same bridge. Many of those who were Vancouverites at the time clearly recall greeting Percival as he walked past on that dark October evening. Nothing in his demeanor suggested that he was about to take his own life. But that is exactly what he was planning to do. His body was found the next day. The former mayor hanged himself. To this day, no one knows why Percival would have taken such a drastic action. They only know that he is apparently doomed in death to retrace over and over again the final few steps of his life. And that ends our episodes for today. Hopefully you're enjoying this series of Ghost Stories of Washington. And we will see you in Ghost Stories of Washington episode 16 in our next episode. Until then, take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.